It's Christmas, and you know what that means? St. Nicholas memes! No, not that St. Nicholas. This St. Nicholas! And there's no more popular St. Nicholas meme than him smacking the heretic Arius. That's right, jolly old St. Nicholas himself, the one with the naughty and nice list, gave poor old Arius one right upside the head. Ow! Why? Because Arius started teaching that Jesus was not divine. Instead, he was a special being that God created before he created anything else. Therefore, he was not equal to God, and subsequently, there is no Trinity. Now, this teaching did not go over very well in the early church, even with Arius' own bishop, Alexander of Alexandria, and particularly St. Nicholas, as we will soon find out. Many labeled Arius a heretic, a false teacher, or a blasphemer. Now, despite this, his influence continued to spread, causing division in the church. Now, Emperor Constantine, who looks like he may have taken a few slaps himself, Yo, Adrian, was a newly converted Christian. He saw this growing division as a problem not only for the church, but also for Rome. So he called a meeting of all the bishops across the entire empire so that they could settle this dispute and unify the church. That meeting was called the Council of Nicea. Now, this is the part where jolly old St. Nicholas shows up.
Jolly old St. Nicholas, lean your ear this way.
But it turns out he left his bag of gifts at home. The story goes that it was at the Council of Nicea that Arius was defending his teaching. And as he continued, St. Nicholas became more and more agitated until finally he got up, walked across the chamber, and struck Arius in the head. Keep my Savior's name out your blasphemous mouth! Have you ever wondered why it seems like every Christmas movie Santa Claus goes to jail? Well, it's nothing new. See, the Romans threw St. Nicholas into prison for being a Christian at the end of the 3rd and beginning of the 4th century. And it seems like the old ex-con has had trouble staying out of jail ever since. After his attack on Arius at the Council of Nicea, St. Nicholas was then stripped of his bishop's attire and thrown into prison overnight. And it's there that he repented, asked for forgiveness from both God and man, and evidently was visited by Jesus and Mary, which subsequently led to him being reinstated as bishop. So where did the church land on this issue? Well, ironically, this whole thing started over one little letter. You see, Arius was arguing that Jesus was homoousios, which is of similar being or of similar substance. Ironically, the church had already had a heretical issue in the late 200s with this word and a similar word, homoousios. They had decided homoousios would be appropriate because of that heretical controversy, but now it was being used poorly in the other direction. But ultimately, the church rejected Arius' teachings and decided that homoousios was the appropriate way to describe Jesus' relationship to God the Father, keeping the divinity intact as well as the Trinity. Homoousios meaning of the same being or of the same substance.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Well, the question is, did this story of St. Nicholas actually happen? Well, the council, Arius' teachings, and the outcome all happened for sure. But when it comes to St. Nicholas, historians think it's unlikely that it actually happened the way that we said. Firstly, from my research, the earliest account we have of this story is several hundred years after the Council of Nicea. And in that account, St. Nicholas slapped an Arian, or a student of Arius, but not Arius himself. Now, the next account is all the way down into the 1400s, so this is not well attested. Secondly, there was no evidence that St. Nicholas was actually at the council. His name was not on the roster of bishops who attended. Now, I've been guilty of not signing a guest book, but none of the historians ever mentioned that he was in attendance or the events that we have described either. Now, those things don't prove that it didn't happen, but it's unlikely. This story, however, has continued to be passed on and is the source of some hilarious memes. And while I can't tell you whether you should believe it or not, all I can say is that if I'm going to believe in the mythos of Santa Claus, this is the one I choose to believe in. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And until next time. Well, wait, before you go. Listen, I don't claim to be much of a singer, and I don't sing in public, so the only reason you're going to get this is because there's a camera in front of me and not a person. But listen, this is funny. This is funny. I got to share this with you. Up at the sea of Bishop's Paws, Arius and Santa Claus. One claims a time when the sun was not, one says that's a heretical thought. Ho, 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 who's gonna go? Ho, 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 who's gonna go? Off with the right hook, good Saint Nick, and down goes the dirty heretic. Merry Christmas, everybody. And remember to keep Jesus center in your Christmas celebration. He is the reason. He is God who became man, who lived, suffered, and died so that you could be reconciled with Him. Hey, it's the only God that exists who was willing to leave His heavenly throne to step into creation and to make things right when you and I mess them up. Merry Christmas. See you next time.